The film opens with Mitsuha Miyamizu, a high school girl living in the rural town of Itomori. She's bored with her small-town life, dreaming of something bigger. One morning, she wakes up feeling different. She's confused, almost like she's forgotten something important. But she brushes it off and gets ready for school. Mitsuha complains about her life to her friends, saying she's tired of the town's traditions and wishes she could be reborn as a handsome boy in Tokyo. Little does she know, her wish is about to take a wild turn. Meanwhile, in Tokyo, we meet Taki Tachibana, a high school boy living a busy city life. He wakes up feeling just as strange as Mitsuha did. But here's the twist: Taki isn't in his own body. He's in Mitsuha's body, and Mitsuha is in his. Yep, you heard that right. Body swap. Taki, now in Mitsuha's body, is understandably freaked out. He's got no idea what's going on, but he's got to pretend to be Mitsuha for the day. And let's just say, he doesn't do a great job. On the flip side, Mitsuha is living her dream. She's in Tokyo. But it's not as glamorous as she imagined. She's overwhelmed by the fast-paced city life and Taki's part-time job at a fancy restaurant. She's also terrible at being Taki, which leads to some hilarious moments. Mitsuha, as Taki, meets Miki, Taki's co-worker who clearly has a crush on him. Mitsuha, being her awkward self, doesn't know how to handle the situation, leading to some cringe-worthy but funny interactions. Back in Itomori, Taki as Mitsuha is struggling to fit in. He's terrible at school, draws weird sketches, and even gets into a fight with Mitsuha's dad, who's the town mayor. It's clear that neither of them is handling this body swap thing well. The next day, they both wake up in their own bodies, thinking it was just a weird dream. But then it happens again, and again. They realize this isn't a dream, they're actually swapping bodies randomly. To make sense of this chaos, they start leaving notes for each other. Mitsuha tells Taki about her life in Itomori, and Taki gives Mitsuha tips on how to survive in Tokyo. They even set rules for each other, like don't spend my money and don't ruin my social life. Mitsuha, being the sweet person she is, decides to help Taki out. She uses her time in his body to set him up on a date with Miki. Meanwhile, Taki as Mitsuha starts to appreciate the simplicity of life in Itomori. Over time, they start to enjoy the swaps. Mitsuha gets to experience the bustling city life she always dreamed of, and Taki gets a break from his hectic routine. They even start to care about each other's lives, forming a unique bond despite never actually meeting. But as they grow closer, something strange happens. The swaps suddenly stop. Taki tries to contact Mitsuha, but he can't reach her. It's like she's disappeared. Taki is determined to find out why the swaps stopped. He tries calling Mitsuha's number, but it's disconnected. He even texts her, but no response. It's like she's vanished into thin air. Frustrated, he decides to take matters into his own hands. Using his memories from the body swaps, Taki starts sketching Itomori. He remembers bits and pieces: the lake, the shrine, the school, but he can't recall the exact location. All he knows is that it's a small town somewhere in the countryside. Taki shows the sketches to his friends, Miki and Sakasa, hoping they might recognize the place. But they're just as clueless as he is. Determined to find Mitsuha, Taki decides to take a trip to find Itomori himself. Taki embarks on a journey, hopping from train to train, asking locals if they've heard of Itomori. But no one seems to know the town. It's like it doesn't exist. Just when he's about to give up, he meets an old man at a restaurant who recognizes the sketches. The old man tells Taki that the town in his sketches looks like Itomori, but there's a problem: Itomori was destroyed 3 years ago by a comet. Taki is stunned. How could he have been swapping bodies with someone from a town that no longer exists? Taki makes his way to the ruins of Itomori, and what he finds is heartbreaking. The town is completely destroyed, with nothing left but rubble and memories. He visits the Miyamizu shrine, where Mitsuha's family once served as shrine maidens, and it's there that he makes a shocking discovery. Taki finds the shrine's visitor log and sees Mitsuha's name written in it. But next to her name is the date of the comet's impact 3 years ago. It hits him. Mitsuha is not just from the past. She died in the comet disaster. The body swaps were happening across time. Taki is devastated. He realizes that the girl he's been swapping bodies with, the girl he's grown to care about, has been gone for 3 years. But he's not ready to give up. He remembers Mitsuha's ritual at the shrine and decides to try something desperate. Taki drinks the kachikamasake the sake Mitsuha made and offered to the gods during her ritual. He hopes it will reconnect him with her, even if it's just for a moment. And then, something incredible happens. Taki is transported back in time to the day of the comet's impact. He's in Mitsuha's body again, but this time, he's determined to save her and the entire town of Itomori. Taki, as Mitsuha, races through Itomori, trying to convince everyone to evacuate, but no one listens. Desperate, he turns to Mitsuha's friends Tessie and Sayaka, and together, they come up with a plan to sabotage the town's power grid, forcing an evacuation. The plan works, the alarms go off, and the town begins to evacuate. But Taki knows they're running out of time. He needs to find Mitsuha and make sure she's safe. Taki runs to the crater, hoping to find Mitsuha. And then, in a moment of pure magic, they see each other not in each other's bodies, but as themselves. It's the first time they've truly met, even if it's just for a brief moment. They try to speak, but the moment is fleeting. Taki tells Mitsuha to write her name on his hand so he won't forget her. But before she can finish, the comet strikes, and Taki is pulled back to the present. Taki wakes up in the present, his hand blank. He can't remember Mitsuha's name or what she looked like, but he knows she's important to him. The memory of her is fading, but the feeling remains. After the events in Itomori, Taki returns to his life in Tokyo, but something feels off. He can't shake the feeling that he's forgotten something or someone important. He tries to move on, but the lingering sense of loss follows him everywhere. Taki goes through his phone, hoping to find clues about Mitsuha. He finds the notes they left for each other during the body swaps, but her name is missing. It's like she's been erased from his memory, but the emotional connection remains. Meanwhile, in the past, Mitsuha is alive and well, thanks to Taki's efforts. But she, too, feels like something is missing. She can't remember Taki's name or face, but she knows he's important to her. The bond they shared transcends time and memory. Mitsuha looks at the sky, where the comet's tail is still visible. She feels a pull, a connection to something or someone beyond her understanding. Determined to find answers, she decides to leave Itomori and head to Tokyo. Mitsuha arrives in Tokyo, a place she once dreamed of living in. But now, it feels foreign and overwhelming. She wanders the streets, hoping to find the person she can't remember but knows she's connected to. Taki and Mitsuha cross paths multiple times, but they don't recognize each other. It's like fate is teasing them, bringing them close, but not close enough. The thread that connects them is fragile, but it's still there. One day, they find themselves standing on opposite sides of a train platform. They lock eyes, and for a brief moment, something clicks. They feel a connection, but the train arrives and they're separated once again. Determined not to lose each other again, Taki and Mitsuha start running through the city, searching for one another. It's a race against time and fate, but they're not ready to give up. Finally, they meet on a staircase. They're both out of breath, but the moment they see each other, they know. This is the person they've been searching for. The connection they felt, the bond they shared, it's real. At first, they hesitate, unsure of what to say. The memories are still hazy, but the emotions are clear. Taki finally breaks the silence, asking, "Your name is?" Mitsuha smiles, tears in her eyes, and responds, "Mitsuha." And just like that, the thread of fate is reconnected. They may not remember everything, but they know they've found each other again.